The air in Newark, Delaware had a taste of tranquility, flavored with the underlying notes of ordinary life. The city, a quilt of historic and modern architecture, thrived on its quaintness, basking under the summer sun that painted every structure with an aureate glow. Evelyn Pierce, her shadow clinging to the sidewalk, made her way toward the local graveyard, her place of interest. Her heart was a glacial comet trailing its long tail of traumatic history, yet held an unyielding flame of kindness, radiating through her indomitable spirit. Entering the cemetery, a place caught between the echoes of the past and the sighs of the present, she found herself drawn to a particular gravestone, nestled among the others like a silent sentinel. This was not her first visit. The engraved names seemed to waver, each viewing manifesting a different name, a different epitaph. Today it read, "James Harrison, peace be upon the wanderer." She crouched beside it, her fingers tracing the cold stone as she squinted, trying to make sense of the elusive etchings. "Why does it change?" she murmured to herself, before taking out her notepad to jot down the day's inscription. "Evelyn!" a voice called from behind. It was Samuel, her partner, sauntering toward her. His smile, warm as sunshine on a spring day, never reached his eyes, a detail she had begun to notice. "The gravestone again?" he asked, raising a brow. His usual jovial tone held a hint of weary skepticism. She nodded, glancing back at the grave. He knelt beside her, his gaze following hers. "It's still James Harrison to me, Ev." Yet to her the name had changed again, now reading, "Martha Caldwell, the Ocean's daughter." She noted it down, her mind already swimming in questions. Samuel, loyal and trusting, was the ballast to her investigations. Yet the widening chasm in their shared experiences began to cast a shadow over their camaraderie. Their dialogue, filled with banter, laughter, and the easy rhythm of longtime friendship, filled the otherwise silent graveyard. It was only later that evening, under the cold gaze of the moon, that she returned to the gravestone alone. The name had changed yet again, a foreboding inscription that read, "Beware the cosmic tide." A chill swept across the graveyard, the ever-changing gravestone bearing its cryptic message under the pallid moonlight. Despite her analytical mind, a knot of dread coiled in her stomach, a sensation she had not experienced since the days of her oppressive past. As she left the cemetery, she cast one last glance at the ominous stone. A morbid fascination stirred within her, a lure she found herself unable to resist. In the quiet solitude of her small apartment, she pored over her notes, haunted by the gravestone's inscrutable warnings. She knew that something lurked in the undercurrent of the quaint city, something far beyond a simple grave fraud scheme. The days in Newark began to bleed into a kaleidoscope of uncertainty. Evelyn Pierce, bound to her path by a knot of curiosity and trepidation, found herself returning to the graveyard each day, the ever-changing gravestone becoming an enigma that gnawed at the edges of her sanity. The cryptic inscriptions whispered riddles under her fingertips, each new message being a veiled prophecy that she was struggling to understand. "Behold the darkened sky," read today's inscription, its words etched into the old stone, seemingly frozen in time for anyone else. But for her, they danced in an eerie ballet of metamorphosis. "Evelyn, are you sure you're all right?" Samuel, worry etched in his brows, had begun to express his concern more frequently. The playful banter that once punctuated their conversations had started to dissolve into a tense dance around the unspoken. Their friendship, once as steady as a lighthouse, now flickered uncertainly amidst the storm brewing. "Sam," she started, her voice barely a whisper. "The gravestone, it's not just names now. It's giving warnings." Samuel glanced at the stone, his face reflecting only the static name of James Harrison. "Ev, it's been a tough case. Maybe you need some rest." But Evelyn knew better. The stone's messages were not mere illusions, nor figments of an exhausted mind. They were omens, shadowed in cryptic phrases that seemed to hint at a looming catastrophe. Her dreams, once her refuge, began to morph into distorted landscapes of cosmic terror. Nebulous horrors from the abyss of the universe haunted her sleep, their formless shapes a paroxysm of grotesque beauty and chilling dread. She began to see glimpses of Newark not as it was, but as a playground for these cosmic horrors where reality and madness weaved a tapestry of nightmare. As she fell deeper into this cryptic mystery, the veil of the quiet city began to thin, revealing glimpses of an underlying corruption that spread its tendrils into the heart of Newark. Unseen to most, it thrummed in the air, pulsed in the stone of the buildings, and whispered in the wind. She was no stranger to horror, her past a testament to her resilience. But this was a different kind of terror. It did not simply invade the mind, but gnawed at the fabric of reality itself. She held onto the love for her dear ones, her beacon in the ever-growing darkness. Her once secure world was teetering on the brink of chaos, yet the resolve in her heart was unwavering. She would uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Samuel, the anchor in her turbulent reality, the trusted partner who had weathered countless investigations with her, began to twist into an unfamiliar figure. His smiles, once comforting beacons in the fog of her past, now felt painted, their sincerity tarnished. "You've been spending too much time in the graveyard, Evelyn," Samuel remarked one morning, his words a thin veil over his mounting apprehension. "This isn't like the other cases. It's consuming you." With her intuition prickling at his shifting demeanor, she felt a foreign chill curl around her heart. "Sam," she began, her voice steady, her eyes meeting his, "there's something happening in Newark, something we don't understand, and I believe that gravestone is the key." His silence, an entity itself, seemed to breathe life into her worst fears. "Or maybe," he said finally, his voice cold, "it's the key to your unraveling." Samuel's betrayal, when it came, wasn't with a bang, but with a soft, soundless implosion that sent shockwaves through her life. He manipulated her investigations, sabotaged her efforts, all in a desperate attempt to save her from a horror he himself couldn't comprehend. His deception, the gravestone's warnings, the looming cosmic terror, they wove around Evelyn like a triptych of treachery, mystery, and horror. Her dreams worsened, plagued by nebulous horrors that seemed to bleed into her waking moments, an oppressive dread tainting the once serene cityscape of Newark. The betrayal left a bitter taste in her mouth, a toxic reminder of the cruel manipulation she had once escaped. But she refused to crumble, her resolve, once merely a defensive shield, now hardening into a sword. With her loved ones at risk, her personal battle against the unseen horrors morphed into a desperate crusade. Her investigation led her into the underbelly of Newark, where the corruption throbbed with palpable energy. Her pursuit of truth began to illuminate the hidden layers of the city, revealing a network of whispers and shadowed faces who worshipped an entity beyond human comprehension, a cult devoted to the cosmic terror. Their words were hymns of chaos, their rituals, a macabre dance to appease the entity they referred to as the Dweller Beyond. As she dove deeper into the abyss, she found herself confronted by a dreadful realization. The changing inscriptions, the cryptic warnings, her unsettling dreams, Samuel's desperate efforts to thwart her investigation, and now the discovery of the cult, all pointed to one truth. The city was caught in the relentless grasp of an entity that fed on terror and chaos. "Evelyn," Samuel pleaded one day, cornering her in her small apartment, his eyes reflecting a desperate fear, "you need to stop. The more you dig, the more you invite it in." But she only met his plea with a defiant glare. "I will not stop, Sam," she replied, her voice steady. "Not until this horror is out in the open. Not until our city is safe." With every new revelation, her reality was twisted and distorted beyond recognition. Yet she refused to cower. It was no longer a mere threat, but a living nightmare. The gravestone's inscriptions became her guiding force, their chilling prophecies a map into the heart of the chaos. The city, under the pall of cosmic dread, held its breath, waiting for the final act in Evelyn's harrowing saga. Once a cheerful private investigator, she was now a defiant sentinel against the all-consuming horror. Gravestone, once a beacon of confusion, had now become a totem of resistance. The latest inscription, chilling in its prophecy, read, "Embrace the void to forge the bridge." She knew the time had come to face the terror directly, her past trauma and the recent sting of betrayal fueling her resolve. Her confrontation with the entity was not a battle of physicality, but a struggle of minds and souls, a dance on the precipice of sanity. "I know what you are," she whispered, her voice echoing through the quiet graveyard. "And I'm not afraid." In the stillness that followed, a dark pulse emanated from the gravestone, its vibrations carrying an eerie whisper that sent shivers down her spine. "Evelyn Pierce, join us." She looked at the gravestone, its once cryptic inscriptions now a twisted invitation. She thought of her loved ones, their faces a beacon in her darkening world. She thought of Samuel, his betrayal born of fear and desperate love. Her journey had led her to this terrifying precipice. To save her city, her loved ones, she knew what she had to do. She took a deep breath and stepped towards the gravestone. With every step, she felt her human fears dissolve, replaced by an almost alien acceptance. "I am Evelyn Pierce," she proclaimed, her voice steady, "and I accept your invitation." The union was unimaginable. Her senses exploded into a vast spectrum of awareness that was both terrifying and beautiful. She became a bridge, a conduit, a link between the humanities she had sworn to protect and the cosmic terror she had chosen to embrace. She became a cosmic sentinel, a keeper of the balance between the mundane world and the horrors beyond understanding. Her world was irrevocably changed. Betrayal and trauma had carved her path, but it was her courage and selflessness that defined her destiny. In her unimaginable union with the cosmic entity, she had found a strange peace, an acceptance that belied the horror of her choice. Her journey into the abyss was a testament to the strength of human spirit, a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable horror, hope could thrive. We appreciate you tuning in. If you fancied the content, show your support with a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to keep up with our eerie adventures. Eldritch Tales Factory has plenty more to offer. Until next time.